Today I will be explaining my phylogenetic tree for the evolution of makeup brushes. Phylogenetic trees show the relationships between OTUs, or operational taxonomic units, which can represent species, strains of a virus, or different genes or alleles in a species. The distance between the OTUs is correlated with how closely they are related to each other and the length of time since evolutionary divergence took place. We are able to know the distance between the OTUs and the order of divergence because we have a rooted tree. In a rooted tree, there is an outgroup. Mine is the large foundation brush, which is the OTU or species that is known to have diverged earlier than all the other OTUs. The large foundation brush roots the tree so that all the other species share it as a common ancestor. I also wanted to explain cladogenesis, which is evolution that occurs by the splitting of one lineage into two. So the branches evolve separately from each other, leading to more biological diversity. This is a type of evolution seen in my tree, but there's also anagenesis, which describes evolution that takes place within one lineage over time, so there is no splitting to potentially make all these different species. In my example, I am selecting for the different phenotypes instead of actually knowing the differences in DNA sequences of these makeup brushes. So when starting with the large foundation brush, the first divergence is seen between the eye makeup brushes and the face makeup brushes. I did this split first because the differences in size were most obvious to me. I also wanted to point out the internal nodes that represent the most recent common ancestor that existed before the divergence. So there are several internal nodes in this tree that reveal the common ancestor as the outgroup. We can then look at the face makeup brushes and how they evolved. First, we have the blush brush that's split and is most similar phenotypically to the bristles of the outgroup. And then there's the divergence to make the bronzer blush, which changed the coloring of the bristles. And then we move on to the last split, which shows the powder brush and the matte foundation blush. And out of all the four face brushes, these are most closely related because these bristles lost the pattern on the top, and then these bristles lost the fluffy texture. For the eye makeup brushes, there is still the occurrence of four different species evolving, but the divergence is slightly different compared to the face brushes. There are two groups that are similar in phenotypes. I chose the shadow brush and the crease brush because they both have the brownish color with the same fluffy texture in the bristles. And then I chose the smudge brush and the liner brush because they have a darker brown color with a more rigid texture. The branches are shorter between these two because they are more closely related, and the divergence took place more recently than the divergence between these two species. I hope this helped better explain phylogenetic trees and their importance in studying biological diversity. Thank you so much.